Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Studio Time with Ryos. In today's video, I want to start on some new ideas and maybe use one of my favorite vocals at the moment as a placeholder. But before we get into that, I want to take a second to shout out today's video sponsor, Automy. Some of you guys know by now that I'm a big fan of Automy. If you didn't already know, Automy is a vocal conversion service where you can upload your own vocals onto their website, select a new voice from their list of artists, and then use those brand new generated vocals in your productions royalty free. One of my favorite ways to utilize Automy in my workflow is to use the convert vocals feature. What I love about the convert vocals feature is there's so much creative opportunity that you can do here. So I started recording myself singing my drop melodies, uploading it here to the convert vocals, selecting different people to sing my drop melody, and then layering that in my drops. So that when you combine them all and stack them together, you get that nice gang vocal feeling or that nice crowd singing along feeling. So for example, check out this melody. So we can already layer this female vocal in our drop. So what if we layered a male vocal as well? So let's check out some of the voices that we can use. Maybe Mark. We're going to leave the pitch the same. We'll leave everything the same here, 30%, and let's click convert. So think about it. We have the female version, now we have Mark's version, and imagine if we have our drop synths playing this melody, we can layer them underneath it and give you this really nice anthemic kind of feeling. It's a trick that I've been utilizing a lot, and Automy makes it so easy to do. So I've partnered up together again with Automy to give you guys 30% off your first 3 months on a monthly plan or your first year on a yearly plan using the code STWR. Big thank you again to Automy for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get right into it. Alrighty folks, so today, like I mentioned, I want to start on some new ideas, and there's a vocal, which you can see on screen right now. Dub Vision and Afrojack's song Underwater has been on repeat lately, and especially because the vocals are mind-blowing. They are so good. So I was thinking about it, and I always love to use some sort of vocal when starting a song, whether it's my own, a really popular track, whatever it might be. It's nice to have that placeholder there. So I was like, yo, I should try to make something around this. So it's not going to quite be a remix, but it's just going to be like a placeholder for right now, because ideally I would love to get a vocal in this style like this for whatever it is that I create, if it winds up turning out good. And you guys know the drill. If it turns out like hot cross buns, then, you know, hopefully at least we'll just be entertained at the bare minimum. For those that don't know, this is what the vocal sounds like. Dude, just absolutely angelic, heaven-like vocal, man. Oh my god. I'm kind of feeling like I need to hear some cool sounds in order to get inspired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really feeling one way or another right now in terms of what direction I want to go, so I'm really just relying on finding some cool sounds. This is a cool sound. I think what I would like to do immediately is add a bit of origin to it, just to give it a little bit more of like a vintage flavor. And I kind of want it to be like wider / have more delay. So maybe we'll add a tape delay to it. But the sound is dope. Now normally, like, what I'm thinking is this is a very like slow, low-key pad. So we'll probably layer like some sort of chord or like stable chord underneath it. Stable just meaning one that has a fast attack, so it doesn't feel like it's all wavy. Now, let's make some chords off this bass line. Let's do... Sounding really vibey already. Love it. Like I said, I do think that we're going to need a little bit more stability. So maybe we'll just do like a very simple, like filtered init chord patch. It's usually a nice option. We could just go to silent for that. Yeah. Let's do init presets. Nope. Dude, silent has been telling me to update it for so long, and I just always say no. Let's do, what am I trying to do? Init preset. Bang, bang, bang. And then all we got to do is filter it down, which I prefer to do that with Simplon. Increase the polyphony. For the style that I'm thinking about, gonna need a respace to come in the mix here. Oh, I had a serum opened up top. Whoops. So anyway, and for this one, we're gonna go to my pack. I have a few really nice options. Like I know Love Tonight might actually work well here. Kind of matches the vibe a bit of like vintage sounds. Chords and bass are sounding exquisite. Now, I also want to try this melody that I've actually already made before. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll just go in the studio, take 5 minutes, and just make a melody. And there's one in particular that I think would match with this vocal well, so I want to go ahead and try that out right now. Okay, so here's what it sounds like. I'm going to move the chords over. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're at. We're actually going to get rid of this vocal because I'm really loving this melody, but it doesn't fit well with the vocal, which again, like I prefaced in the beginning, it was just a placeholder. But now that I've kind of got this vibe down, I'm kind of inspired to build on this, so I don't really need the vocal anymore. I also just switched the sound to this one. Really, really nice and vibey. This is real nice, not gonna lie. What I was gonna say though is I kind of want to, now that I'm hearing this, build a little bit. I want to experiment with number one, maybe inverting these chords. Yeah, I like that a bit better, just because I want these... Yeah, like I want that vibe to be a little bit more present. So by inverting that, kind of get those high notes coming out a little bit more, which I think sounds nice. And then for this guy, I think I actually want to switch this to like a filtered piano of some sort. So we're going to scrap this silent idea. Going to go to Nexus. There's one in Nexus in particular, which I really like. It's called Funeral Piano. So beautiful. I'm going to narrow it a bit. I'm also going to carve out some low mids. It's quite muddy by default. Also going to compress it quickly, just to add a little bit more power. Oh yeah, Jesus. Sounds great. I'm thinking now that we're switching the direction a bit, maybe it'd be better to get a smoother bass in. Not that. So what I'm thinking is let's build a nice, beautiful, big lead stack. Maybe something like string inspired, you know, and then go for something really angelic and anthemic. I'm going to go ahead and get one more supersaw in right away. Now I'm going back to Nexus, and let's try to find another sound that will balance out the supersaw. Something a bit cleaner and maybe a little simpler. Okay, this one's pretty dope. It's actually called Progressive Style too, which may be a little fitting. I'm going to boost the release. Okay, so now there's two more leads that come to mind that we should get in. So one being a kind of pluck, and especially because we're going for like a dreamy kind of route. If we can get a nice dreamy pluck in there, I think that would suit the whole stack really well. I don't know why I went to Nexus, because I think Spire would have better options. Love this sound. Now, this is a great opportunity now to get some kind of organic kind of sound in there. Maybe a piano even might be cool. Let's try faded keys. That's nice. So a few things that actually need to happen. I'm creating a lead group, going to process these to make them sound a little better. A few things that need to happen though. On this sound, it's really thin and I don't want that. So we can just simply boost with an EQ. So the first obvious choice, we could just do some supercharger. Just compress them a little bit, add some power, add a little bit of glue, all that good stuff. I also need to adjust the stereo image a bit. On this faded keys, what I'm going to do is a pretty decent low cut here. Trying to reshape it a little bit. All right, now next on the entire group, we can consider adding some sort of, I was going to say exciter, but it might be smoother sounding to just do something like fresh air. Now to combat some of the harshness, I will add soothe as well. I think these leads sound great right now. Maybe we can add a little bit of realm and a little bit of delay as well. Now let's go ahead, let's add them to the rest of the arrangement here, and we're going to filter them down, and this section right here at bar 57 would kind of act as my build. I want to add some drop synths now to support these. Now, obviously, I want to go for some chords. And I remember when I made my jungle remix, I really liked the chords that I made. Have this very like angelic kind of sound. So I want to go ahead and just utilize them once again. Okay, we're definitely going to need to work on the leads, no doubt. No doubt. But the idea is there. The direction and idea are definitely there. Let me go ahead and just work on the bass first, and then I'll go and fix the leads. For the drop bass, I kind of want to look at some of the ones that I've previously made and see what would work. You know, I've never got to use this one before, but I love this bass right here. Just a simple but great progressive house bass. So that's going to be like the main bass layer. Now I want to go, where's the memory 100 bass? So because this one's plucky, maybe we can make it a bit more rhythmic. Whenever I'm making a rhythmic bass line, I do like to use kind of my lead as a reference. So the simple option would be to just simply copy the lead melody. I think I'd want it to be more like this. Yeah, I think I like this rhythm better. Now it's time to get a sub in. Gonna use prog sub 1 or 2 from my pack. these presets have tons of harmonics, so it's not just a plain sub. And this is good for filling out the lows, especially in a more melodic track. So yeah, that's great. So let's see. Let me take a second to go back to the drop leads. Now here's how I want to fix them. The problem that I'm feeling right now, this main lead that I chose, the highs sound kind of cheap to me, and I don't like the attack. So what I'm thinking is, let's carve out the highs a bit, and maybe even increase the attack, because I do like the tonal quality of it, and then I could pick a different sound to replace those things that I'm cutting out, basically. So we can start by increasing the attack slightly. Yeah, I really don't like these highs either, so let's go ahead and get rid of these now. In my head, what I'm hearing, like, this is kind of giving me, like, wet vibes, or, like, sparkly. I mean, it's kind of fitting because I chose a reference vocal in the beginning called Underwater, but I kind of want to stick with that theme. And a sound that kind of fits with that theme is like a sound from Nexus, actually. I don't know what the name of it off the top of my head is. It's basically just another aggressive super saw, but ones with tons of attack to it. It actually might be one of these. Like, it might be not this one, but something close to this. Let me see. Oh, yeah. So that kind of fixes my issue with the leads. So that's nice. Let me take a second to organize too, BRB. So I just finished labeling, and I've been listening to the idea. The one thing that I feel like we can add next is some sort of either pad or big drone for this drop. Something to really give it this atmospheric and angelic feeling. And what I did was I turned off the sidechain and removed the bouncy bass just for like this section. And you can hear I need a little bit more vibes, a little bit more of like an angelic feeling. So I always include tons of those sounds in my Patreon pack. So I just want to see if one of these will fit. Like literally, this is a great example. Pitch it up one. Super, super sick. Let's shift it a little bit. Reduce the low mids, boost the high mids. Okay, so one other thing that I did in Memory, because this 100 bass or the bouncy bass, it's from my song Memory, and I really like the way that low end was designed. So I think what I'm going to do is use the other primary bass that I did in Memory. So let me pull that up right now as well. Okay, so let's see if this works. Actually sounds really nice, I'm not gonna lie. Let's go ahead and copy over the more rhythmic version of the bass line here. I'm gonna add a little bit more spacing in between so that we really feel the differences. Like that. I actually really like that. Now, what I'm going to do next is consider removing some bass sounds. I want to start by taking away this bouncy bass, and I might even replace the sub for a cleaner one. Okay, 100 bass is definitely going to go, 1000%. Only because the Memory bass now, like, takes the spot of what that was doing. have a feeling, guys, that this sub is a little too fat. Prog sub 2? Yeah, prog sub 2 is a bit cleaner. So all the drop synths right now are sounding very, very nice. I'm extremely happy. But what I was going to say is, like, sometimes before I go ahead and do drums and effects and stuff, I actually like working on the build more. Because if I can get a better idea of how the build is going, it kind of helps my brain piece together the drop, if that makes any sense. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce out the leads into audio briefly, just so that I can have a version that I can manipulate a bit further in the build up and not have to worry about my CPU blowing up. So let me just quickly bounce this into audio. So the next thing to consider also is this break pluck. I really do love it, and I want this to definitely stay in my mix. I do wonder if there's a way that we can automate this and make it sound cooler in the build-up. Yeah, I mean, one of the most basic ways, but really effective, is to automate the cutoff. And then I'm going to also filter out the break chords. All the instrumentation sounds fantastic in this build now. I would say let's do the drums. Ooh. Sacred Times one works really nice. Let's go ahead and let's get some risers in so that I can go ahead and actually work on this drop. We're going to go ahead and get the Pong riser in. I feel like I hear that pretty clear in my head. G sharp. Pitch it up one semitone. And because of the way this buildup is made so far, where everything is pretty filtered, I would just have to simply add a filter to this riser as well, because otherwise, if it's fully open, it just sounds a bit just crazy. It comes out of nowhere. There we go. Pong riser's good. Let's get a sweep in there now. Nice, simple, long sweep. Okay, so the sweeps and everything are there, more or less. Now we can actually work on the drop a bit. I did this in my festival remix of my own track, Midsummer Nights, but it's to choose... Yeah, look, see, like, clean ride and then a noisy ride back to back. And then the clean ride could play the same rhythm as the bass line, and then the noisy ride will do noisy ride things, just play 4 to the floor. So I'm going to use the perfect prog ride for my noise. And then for the clean one, we'll do that rhythm. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a clap to also play that same exact rhythm. Pretty simple, but I think effective drum pattern. I'm going to go ahead and just sidechain the clap a little bit. And then we also have to add sidechain to all the instruments too. So a few adjustments that I want to make real quick. I first still need to incorporate that vocal chop, see if I can, do it successfully. I have it muted right now. The other thing that I have to do is implement more warmth in this drop, but with chords. Also just going to remove some high end on these chords since I primarily want them to be focused, in those mids. Okay, now working a bit quicker now, let's go ahead and just get some of the things that we know we're 100% going to need. So that includes crashes, downlifters, stuff like that. This is a very, very progressive house-esque idea. And normally in these iterations of prog house, you'll have a decent amount of effects going in the drop. So number one, I'll use like a drop splash Maybe this one. This one's quite nice. And as I was saying, for this style prog house, it's quite common to also add another downlifter here after 4 bars. Something like this. Kind of like this one for this kind of stuff. All right, so let's get this in first. And then we also 1000% are going to need a crash, right? Drop crash effects are great here too. Another riser that I heard right there is, what did I call it? 2-step riser? Stair riser? I put in the Patreon pack. Stair riser. Stair sweep. Yeah, I heard this pretty clear right here. All right, we can go ahead and copy over the drums once over. And also, we haven't considered some other fills for the drop. So, you know, clap fills, I love them so very dearly. So let's see if we can incorporate some of the ones. Maybe the buttery one, since this is a nice buttery smooth drop. Ba-da-ba. I could probably just cut the clap here. And then one more kind of fill. Okay, now we're here for the halfway fill. Let's remove all of the drums. Big snare, as always. Dude, this is freaking dope. Let's keep it going. I want to stay locked in. Wait. Lock in. Let's quickly get some more drums here for the second half of the drop. Kind of like this, but I'm going to cut out that little open hat thing that I did. Actually, first let's try with it, and then I'll maybe remove it. Yeah, it makes it a little hectic. I don't know if I love that. Let's just cut that. And then we'll... And then some sort of clap snare I think would be dope here. I kind of want it to be aggressive, so maybe we'll do Catching Fire. I'm going to do something that I did way back in the day during the More Than Ever fill. What I did was I completely removed the basses, and then I added... I may have included the fill in Patreon. Let me check. I did. Yeah. So the cool thing about this fill is it has a sub boom, right? So it's like you have all the basses going, and then it kind of does this dramatic drop off into a sub boom. But it makes for a really cool kind of break or moment in the drop. If I were to build on this idea more, something that I would 100% consider doing are some melody variations or maybe some chord variations as well, since it's very melodic. But everything's in audio already, and I kind of want to wrap up working on this idea for now. So that's something that I would say for another time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap it up for this session. Let's take a listen from the top, and let's see what I came up with. Dude, let's go. Yo, this is so sick. Listen, when I first made this melody, I only did it on a piano. So when I made it, I kind of envisioned it to turn into this. Super stoked with how this one turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Now, if you guys did enjoy today's episode, please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I upload. If you guys haven't already, go check out my Patreon. Tons of goodies over there, including feedback, sample packs, project stems, lessons, whole bunch of other goodies. Also, I have my Patreon shop now, which is separate from the memberships, and I have a production course up there, more to come, and then also my sample pack collection also there. So for all that, click on the link down below in my description. So that'll be all for me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.